Neutralize the Watchdog unit. A Watchdog's agent is down. Another Watchdog has been neutralized. Another bounty hunter is down. The Watchdog's team has been defeated. Excellently done. I've located captive Inhumans. They're being kept in portable cells.
What is going on YouTube? It's your boy Gorilla King here. I've been seeing a lot of videos on YouTube about doing the rocket spam with Iron Man, and I just was sitting here one day and I was thinking, like, how can I make this even more broken than what it is? And I ended up doing a Last Avenger Standing Hive, and I ended up getting this gear piece right here, the Superior Mark 15 Quantum Reactor. And the reason I was like, oh, this is a really good gear piece. One, because your arc fields, defensive barrier electrocutes nearby enemies. You get minus 20% damage reduction for all damage while supercharged is active. So you'll take less damage while you're supercharged. And also the last perk, increase the duration of supercharge by 8.5 seconds. Well, if you get your supercharge, yes, if you get your supercharge increased by 8.5 seconds, I was thinking of something else, then when you're doing your arc overload, you'll get more time to do your rocket spam. But prior to using this piece, I was using this piece, the Centurion's Mark 15 Quantum Reactor, because I get an extra arc overload charge. Now, and you also get 150% increased critical attack damage while overcharged. And so I was like, man, the rocket spam is pretty broken. And so if I can get an extra overload charge plus the increase the duration by 8.5 seconds means I get more time to spam rockets. So I started thinking, I was like, wait, how can we make this work? And I thought back to the little Jane Thor, or the Mighty Thor cheese, where they load into the mission with the single God Blast, equip the triple God Blast, and then reload it, reload the checkpoint. Once you reload the checkpoint, then you get the triple God Blast with the Cryo and the Whirlwind for Jane. Because if you don't know, the triple God Blast option for Jane, you lose the Whirlwind and the Cryo. So that's a way to cheese it to where you can get the triple God Blast and the Whirlwind on your Jane. So what I did was, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna load in with the extra arc overload charge, and then once I get in, I'm going to switch to the 8.5 seconds and reload the checkpoint, and then you'll see I get the second charge plus I'll get the 8.5 seconds. So let me load into the mission really quickly. There you go. So now that I'm loading in, I am going to move a little bit, open up my character menu. I'm going to change from the extra overload charge to the gain 8.5 seconds. And then all I do is get out that menu and reload the checkpoint. And you'll be able to see now I have on the gain the 8.5 seconds, but I will still have my second charge. And as long as I don't touch that piece anymore, I get keep the second charge, plus I get the 8.5 seconds. So you can see in the bottom right, I have my one charge of arc overload and the second one's already charging. And then when I pop my arc overload, now that I pop my arc overload, now I get 29 seconds of straight rocket spam. Absolutely insane. I gotta work on my spam, but you can literally spam your rockets unlimitedly for 29 seconds each. Just spam rockets, that's it. Then when you need more, you just pop your Unibeam whenever you have it, and then you can get more intrinsic orbs. Ideally, you already have 2 charges, but now it's good forever. Now I maintain my my second charge of my arc overload for rocket spam. So I'm just gonna create a couple of heroic orbs really quick, and then I can get that second charge. But as you can see, the other one's already charging back up. I can pop my arc overload, and then I can spam more rockets for 30 seconds. So if you ask me, absolutely insane. Because before you get only 20 seconds, now you can spam rockets for 30 seconds. So here is a quick overview of the build that I have currently. I'm using this one, first piece, the modular Mark 13-1 gloves for the 2.2% increased heroic charge rate while overcharged. The second piece that I'm using, my ranged piece, is a superior Mark 13 Muon rays that I got from doing the last Avenger Standing. Really like this piece because it dropped with vibranium rockets, which is good for when you're doing the raid. And also I get bunker buster missiles, which gives me 18% increased damage of all rocket attacks. My defensive piece is from the raid Discordant Shielding. It gives me 25% damage reduction on sonic attacks, and Reverberation Breaker, which inflicts 25% additional damage to enemies afflicted by an active vibranium status effect, which I will be getting from my vibranium rockets. So that's an additional 25% damage I can get once they're afflicted by the vibranium status. And then of course for the last piece, like I said, so for my heroic piece, I'm using the superior Mark 15 quantum reactor, which I'm getting the supercharge extension by 8.5 seconds while cheesing the Centurion's Mark 15 quantum reactor perk, gain an extra arc overload charge, which is arc overload assistance, onto this piece. So I get the second charge from this piece, and then I'm getting the 8.5 seconds duration added with the superior Mark 15 quantum reactor. And just a quick overview of my skills that I'm currently using is for my specialty, I am using the arc supercharge, gives me 3 additional seconds for arc overload, with arc jolt to revive my teammates when they're down by using my arc overload. Then precision refractor, which gives my Unibeam 3 more seconds, so I can create more heroic orbs while using energy condenser, which enemies defeated by the Unibeam will give me heroic orbs. Using the disruption pulse on my Hulkbuster for stunning claw at the end of the raid, and then also hyper codes will give me 10 more seconds of Hulkbuster. For mastery, you can just quickly look over. Air combat mastery gives me 15% while juggling enemies in the air, while using heroic takedown for doing takedowns gives me heroic orbs. Ranged combat mastery increases ranged attack damage by 15%. Rocket mastery increases damage of all rockets by 12%. Laser specialization gives me 10% energy cost reduction for using lasers, and then laser efficiency decreases the intrinsic energy cost again by 10%. Going to arc reactor generator is 10% increase of intrinsic regeneration speed, and overcharge duration boost is 2 seconds increased on my overcharge state. Overcharge damage boost gives me 12.5% damage increase for all attacks while overcharged, and then reduces the energy shield activation cost by 15%. This gives me 5% per second intrinsic energy near the energy barrier, me and any other heroes next to it. And then also air superiority increases the damage of ranged attacks while flying by 15%. So when you're doing your rocket spam, just make sure you're in the air so you can get this air superiority proc and get 15% more damage. Well, that pretty much does it for today's video. Thank you so much for everybody who tuned in and watched the video. If you guys like the content that you see, make sure you guys smash the subscribe and like button, turn on your post notifications so you guys are notified first when the next video is posted. But for now, it's your boy Gorilla King signing out, guys. See you in the next one. Peace.